Good morning, everyone. This is our output group 2 in lesson 3 in purposive communication. This lesson is entitled Local and Global Communication in Multicultural Settings. So our group chose the country India as it is the cradle of Hindu civilization. So, under our discussion content are the following: brief information about the country's culture, etiquettes and customs, common communication expressions, common nonverbal gestures, and the do's and don'ts in communication. First, we have the brief information about the country's culture. Now, as we all know, over the centuries, there has been a significant fusion of cultures between Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Sikhs, and various tribal populations in India. India is the birthplace of Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and other religions. They are collectively known as Indian religions. Next are the etiquettes and customs. Feet are thought to be the dirtiest part of the body. The soles of one's feet should never be pointed at another person, towards a temple, or towards a deity. Sit in a way that avoids this. The top of the head is considered to be the most important part of the human body. To touch someone on the top of their head is considered rude and insensitive. This is especially the case with babies, children, elderly, religious leaders, or statues of deities. To show the utmost respect towards a religious leader, statue of a deity, or an elder, one will touch the feet of the person or the statue. Never sit higher than an elder. If they seated on the floor, you should also sit on the floor to avoid being higher than them. Objects are generally passed with one's right hand or both hands. The left hand is thought to be the reserved for cleaning, and the left hand alone should be used to pass an object. Now, Indians have a relaxed approach towards timekeeping and punctuality. It is common for people to arrive at events 30 minutes to an hour after the designated time. However, Indians will usually observe punctuality in a formal context, such as important business meetings, appointments, or when visiting a doctor. Next is the common communication expressions. For verbal, we have the indirect communication, refusals, silence, questioning, and hierarchy. For indirect communication, the communication style of Indians tends to be polite and indirect. They may try to speak appeasingly to those they are not close to in order to avoid conflict or confrontation. Direct refusals, such as no, may be considered to be too harsh, and open disagreement is likely to be interpreted as hostile or aggressive. Therefore, Indians tend to give evasive refusals and indirectly express disagreement. For silence, sometimes people will remain silent rather than a direct no. Thus, it is advisable to pay attention on what is not said, as the absence of agreement may be said as an expression of disagreement. For questioning, the cultural preoccupation with politeness and modesty can sometimes mean that some Indians automatically answer yes to direct questions that are yes or no answer. For hierarchy, the social hierarchy of of an Indian society often influences communication patterns in many scenarios. Next, we have the common nonverbal gestures. We have physical contact. For physical contact, Indians prefer not to touch people when it can be avoided, but they may touch someone's arm or hand when speaking so long as they are the same gender. For personal space, Indians generally respect each other's personal space, and an arm's length of distance is common during interactions. For eye contact, in general, Indians prefer to keep eye contact minimal or avert their eyes from the opposite gender rather than sustaining eye contact. Whistling and winking. Both these actions are considered sexually suggestive in India. Head tilt. People may tilt their head to the side or shake it to both sides to indicate agreement and understanding. This head movement is similar to the Western gesture indicating I don't know, with a shrug of the shoulders and tilting one's head to the side. Nodding. Indians will often nod to acknowledge what is said out of politeness. Gestures. Pointing the index finger towards someone is considered to be accusatory. A more polite way to beckon or refer to someone is to use your whole palm facing down. Head. The head is considered to be the holiest part of one's body. Touching someone on the top of the head is deemed to be insensitive and offensive, as I have said earlier. Lastly, the feet. Feet are thought to be the dirtiest part of the body, as I have said earlier, and displaying the sole of one's feet or touching people with one's feet is considered rude. Next, we have the do's and don'ts in communication. So these do's and don'ts in communication are also applicable to Indian communication. First, we have the do's. Be a good listener and stay focused on the person who is speaking. Maintain eye contact with the person you are talking to and nod occasionally to affirm interest in their words. Look for nonverbal clues like lack of eye contact, distraction of fidgeting, which convey restlessness or impatience. Tailor your conversation to your audience. Behave confidently and communicate with a stable and clear voice. Use simple and polite language. Avoid judging people and praise them often. Express negative thoughts in a positive way. Be open to receiving constructive feedback. Learn to say no politely but firmly. Assert yourself, recognize others' feelings, and then state your needs or opinions. And lastly, favor your right ear. Next are the don'ts. Don't interrupt people when they are talking. It hampers their thought process and it is rude. Don't overcomplicate your message. Don't be defensive or offensive. Stay neutral. Don't criticize in public. Don't shout or talk too fast. And don't show negative body language. Oh, and here's the last one. Don't give more importance to cell phones or other electronic devices over people. So that is all for today, guys. My apologies, Ma'am Alcantara, for not having all of my group mates taking a video, because some of them, I mean majority of them have no signals in their location, and we have a votation and a consensus regarding the PowerPoint presentation, and I let them search the information, and I am the one who edited and presented the video and also the speaker of the video. So my apologies. These are my group members. The references. Goodbye.